What's up people, hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host Ayman Hassan and welcome back to another video here at Most Amazing Top 10. Now I know I'm not alone in saying I've wasted a lot of time on Google Street View exploring countries I've never been to, and even places I have been to I'm more like, oh, I've been there. Either way, fun and games aside, Google Street View has actually captured some really weird things too that are questionable, to put it lightly. So let's just get into it. This is the top 10 mysterious Google Street images. Starting us off, number 10 is the floating shadow. Now this image was taken in 2008, so I don't think it's on Google Street View anymore because they update it every few years, but this one was taken on 29th Street in San Francisco. And it's literally just a normal street, houses on both sides, but in the sky, in the middle of the clouds, there's a huge black shape that looks like a floating guitar case. And I get when something gets caught on the Google camera itself and that shows up on the image, but the shape is massive. It's not a tiny blotch on the camera, it's a gigantic black entity in the sky, and I don't get why other people haven't drawn attention to this. Some people were saying it's some type of UFO aircraft, others are saying it's Photoshop, which you can't even do. You can't Photoshop Google Street View, so I genuinely don't know what it is. Some people even suggested it could be a projection, but projections in the sky rarely ever turn out as opaque as this floating thing, so I highly doubt that hypothesis either. Either way, if you guys have any ideas, do let me know. Otherwise, thank you aliens for not abducting us while you clearly had the chance. Coming in at number 9 is the plane. So this image was taken at Holly Hill Road in Hillsboro, Oregon, and it's just acres and acres of greenery, and in the middle of it is a 727 jetliner. The scene honestly looks like a plane crash that no one ever found despite the plane being fully intact, and looking at it I was like, damn, someone should really check this out. What if there are remains? I mean, I don't know. But I did some more digging and it's actually not a crashed plane at all. Plot twist! Don't we just love a cheeky plot twist? So since 1999, a man called Bruce Campbell has been transforming this plane into his dream home. The bottom of the plane is fully plexiglass and the nose of it is sort of sitting on a pile of pallets, which doesn't seem very sturdy, but if the man got the plane into the middle of nowhere, I trust his methods and that this pile of pallets will really uphold the plane. He went on to say he knows his home is a huge toy, but it's also bug-proof, fireproof, able to stand extreme temperatures, so basically it's all good for an apocalypse should one happen soon. And if it does, Bruce, can I join you in that plane? At number 8 we have the pigeon people. So this image was taken at the Tamagawa Aqueduct Greenway in Tokyo, and this one just perplexed me. The image is basically a walkway with a bunch of people walking, obviously, but in this angle there are 8 people in normal everyday outfits all standing there with their hands by their sides wearing massive pigeon head masks. They're not really masks since they cover the face and the neck and everything, but either way, I have questions. I have many questions. I even looked around the street to see maybe if it was some kind of dress-up party or some festival of some kind, but no, the other people on the street are definitely not wearing pigeon heads, so I have about as much information as you do. Zero. But the image, I'm sorry. Filling our number 7 slot is the pool party. So this image was taken in Harcourt, Ontario, and it's in the middle of a field. You can see the farm and the silos in the background, so as you can imagine it's pretty much in the middle of nowhere. But bang in the middle of this image is a pool party. There's a poolside chair, a hot tub, and 4 people looking like they're having a mint time. Except they're not people, they're all mannequins. One's lying on the chair, 2 are in the hot tub, and 1 is standing holding something, and I can't really tell if it's like a fake fish. I honestly have no idea what it is. There's even a fake sun behind them. I mean, someone actually cut out a sun and stuck it on the pole behind them, because let's face it, day or night, they're gonna be there. The mannequins, they can't move, so at least it'll always be sunny for their party. I don't know why someone would make this, but I mean, I'm not gonna judge. I mean, maybe I'll judge a little, I'm sorry. Now at number 6 is the BEARMAN. So this one was taken outside a cabin on Fish Lakes Creek in Alaska. Now the image is of a patio area of this cabin, and sitting around an empty fire pit is a man dressed in a full bear suit. Face and all, it's not just a onesie, it's everything. He's not with anyone, because if he was and they were also dressed up as animals, this whole thing would be a lot less creepy, but sadly he's sitting alone. And what makes this image and the real cherry on top is the fact the dude is also cradling a gun. Now at first I really had no idea what he was carrying. I was like, is that a black fish? Is it a device of some kind? But after zooming in as much as I possibly could, I concluded that it is in fact a gun. Now again, why was this man standing there in a bear suit? Why is he holding a gun? And I can suspend my disbelief enough and be like, maybe he was holding a hunting rifle and he was going hunting in the area, but it was more of like a medium-sized gun, kind of like a really mini MK47. There's my COD knowledge coming in handy, ha ha ha. Coming in at number 5 is the dog. Now this image was taken in Buenos Aires and it's basically a parking lot in what looks like a bit of a rundown area of town. Now but the weird part about the image is the stuffed dog that is hanging off of a leash from the telephone wire. Now before you think I'm talking taxidermy, no, don't worry, it's a toy. It's not a real stuffed dog because that would be horrendous, but a stuffed dog toy is still very questionable. But anyway, I don't know how the person even got it up there, and forget the how, I'd like to know why even. At least if it was a busy central part of the city, I'd understand it a bit more, I guess, but it's literally a random parking lot. And I'd really like to know why the person chose this location specifically. Well, I mean, I'd like to know a lot of things, but there you go. Stuffed dog toy hanging from a telephone wire in Buenos Aires. There's a sentence I never thought I'd say. At number 4 is the woman. So this one was taken on 2nd Street in Roswell, New Mexico, and it's basically a road surrounded by desert on both sides. That's it, that's all it is. There's nothing around this place for ages, yet the image Google Street View captured is a woman in a dress and long boots walking with a piece of luggage. There was like one car in the distance of the shot that I could see, but it seemed to be going away from her, not towards her. And even then, I mean, how long had she been walking for? Was she wearing sunscreen? Where was she going? I feel like if I had to make up a backstory for this image, it would be that she was on the way to a trip with her partner of some kind. They must have had a bad fight, broken up, and she was like, screw this, I'm out of here, I'll walk home if I have to, and that's exactly what she did. So power to you, random woman. Filling our number 3 slot is Rudolph. So this image was taken on a road in northern Norway, and it's actually quite a scenic image. A rocky cliff sort of terrain on the right of the road, and on the left it's surrounded by a huge body of water and some mountains in the background. Postcard material. But on the road itself you see a running reindeer. Like, that thing looks like it's galloping for its life. It had a tiff with Santa's other reindeer crew and was like, I'm out, peace. It's actually quite a cute creature. I hope it turned out okay and that it got to wherever it was hell bent on going without getting hit by a car or anything like that. Even though I feel like if a car did hit it, it would probably do more damage to the car than to the reindeer itself, but we at Top 10 stand in solidarity with Rudolph's getaway mission. You go girl. Or guy. Or they. Now at number 2 are the neighbors. So this image was taken at a bus stop in Nagoro, Japan. Now it looks like quite a normal town. There are 2 people sitting at the bus stop and 10 others sitting in this sort of shed right next to it. And that scene is like mundane, it's very normal, it would have been fine except for the fact that people are not people, they are ragdolls. If I was exploring Japan and I came upon this scene, I would be like, people are dressed up as these ragdolls and I'm about to get murdered by them. But in reality, an artist called Tsukimi Ayano actually created these ragdolls along with hundreds of others to be stand-ins for her previous neighbors who either moved away from the village or died or what have you. Imagine everyone dying or moving away and you being the only living human in this town of ragdolls. A life I'd rather not live, honestly. And finally, at number 1 is the dead body. Now if we're talking about weird things seen on Google Maps, I feel like this image everyone has seen. It was taken in the city of Almere in eastern Amsterdam, and it shows a long pier with an octagonal platoon at the end of it and a body of water all around it. Now I saw this image years ago and freaked out because the pier looks like it's showing a murder cover-up, and I kid you not. There's a long train of blood leading up to the pier, and on the pier itself there's even more blood and what appears to be someone dragging a dead body. But this has been dispelled, guys. It's not the new CSI story because the real story is actually a lot cuter than you'd think. The trail of blood is actually a trail of water, and the figures on the pier are 2 people bending over their wet dog who is lying on the pier. The trail of water is from the dog, the bloody smears are just more wet dog marks, and the dead body is in fact just a dog. Gotta love it. And that's it for today's video, guys. All these images really make me question where we as a species are headed. I mean, dog on a telephone wire, mannequin pool party in the middle of nowhere. Like, why? Why are we doing this? I mean, at least we're entertaining, I'll give us that. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, and as always, I'm your host Ayman Hassan, and I'll see you next time. Bye!